This video app review is brought to you by the iPhoneAppReview.com.
What's up, everybody? This is Luke Patrick with the iPhoneAppReview.com. We're slinging out yet another video review today, this time taking a look at an application for the iPhone that fits squarely into the arcade/retro shooter category. That's a genre we're particularly fond of because it ate a bunch of our quarters back in high school. But we also like to see these on the iPhone just because they're good for the platform. They're nice way to kill time, especially when you're standing in the queue or during the morning commute. The app that we're looking at today is called Rocket Mission, and it's available on my springboard right there. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this. Before we go too much further, we are going to mention that this is pretty much a classic space shooter, asteroids or something like that. But it has a lot of tunnel racing influence too. We'll show you more of that in just a second. But on the whole, a very fantastically classic kind of gameplay. And of course, there is a music and sound effects aspect to this game that we aren't currently using, because it makes it a lot easier to hear me, and we're kind of narcissistic like that. The graphics themselves, we'll show you more in just a second when we dive into the actual gameplay, are kind of sparse, though. It's pretty much our only real complaint with the application, like looking at this menu here. It's just sort of stale and kind of, amateurish, but not enough to break the deal for us, but at the same time, it's not the smoothest interface or, eye candy flavor that we've seen in an application of this sort, and we'll talk more about that when we dive in just a second, which we're going to go ahead and do now, actually. So the point of the game is that you initially start at one location, like we're about to start at the moon, and then you travel on to a different point further along. This is in contrast to the typical arcade game style where you simply go until your high score is bested until you die, or something of the sort that cuts the gameplay short prematurely. We did like this a lot, actually, because it gave us an extra incentive to keep going and to try to unlock just one more planet, so to speak. So we very much did enjoy that. We're going to go ahead and show you how this works. I'm going to go with just the moon level because it's going to be easier to control. And you do have this nice starting animation. And again, this kind of cartoony sort of style is not quite as professional as we might have liked. Sorry, I forgot to hit the red button. But we'll talk more about that in just a second. So you start the game off. And this does use tilt controls, which we'll show you in just a second as well. And they work pretty fantastically. We had no complaints as far as actually controlling this. And as far as the other controls go, you simply tap the screen to shoot. So that's basic and functional. And then you hit these little portals to go faster. Obviously, the idea here is that I'm traveling from one point to the other, and I'm blasting away asteroids and other obstacles as I go. And then I'm picking up power-ups. I can hit this to activate a shield, and then slam into these speed bumps to send me further up the road. Or I can fire off a missile that destroys any oncoming asteroids. So as we mentioned earlier, we loved the gameplay itself. The graphics are kind of a little subpar, a little less than we'd like, but then again, we did love the gameplay, and especially the fact that I have this distance rating down here that tells me exactly how far I have to go until I hit the object that I'm aiming for. Again, this is in contrast to the sort of ad infinitum style arcade game gameplay that we're used to, and we actually did like it a lot. It gives us an extra incentive to keep going. Likewise, you do have other stock arcade kind of fare. You've got 3 lives, and you have a high score that goes on. There are no leaderboards at this point, which would also be a great addition. We'd like to see some online leaderboards, or possibly achievements, a la Game Center, something like that. However, like we said, the gameplay is nice, so I can just continue straight from planet to planet, as I just did there, and it doesn't break the flow, so it's very intuitive and very easy. As we mentioned, the controls are working quite well, although I am not at the moment because I'm actually not doing too well while doing this review. But the controls themselves work fantastically. The accelerometer works very well, and we had no problem tilting to control. Likewise, the tapping was not a problem either. And that's essentially what the app has to offer Rocket Mission. So we're going to go ahead and go back to Mission Control to give you our final wrap-up. There's a lot of levels here, so you don't have to worry about that. That's not a problem. So at the end of the day, we are inclined to give Rocket Mission a 3.5 out of 5-star rating. We liked the gameplay a lot, especially because we're kind of a fan of these old and shooter-style gameplays, and if you're looking for a nostalgic experience on the iPhone, this is a great way to go. However, we do wish the graphics were a little bit better. And as you noticed, there was a bit of delay as I was playing the main game. You'd sort of, the app would chug occasionally, and we did see a lot of that, so we wish that was a little bit smoother as well. But on the whole, Rocket Mission is still a great arcade shooter for the iPhone, so we're going to give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars, as well as a recommendation for fans of the genre. So that's all we have to say about Rocket Mission, and at this point I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you would, check out the other videos on our YouTube channel. If you want to hear my voice and see some awesome apps, that is the place to go. or you can go to the iPhoneAppReview.com to read heaps of our written reviews as well. And that's all we have to say about this, so I'm going to go ahead and sign out, but we'll see you guys later. Bye.